And we back. The sounds every anesthesiologist knows. Fix this unlocking. Also, for some of these shorter cases, if we're not intubating, we use something called an LMA, or a laryngeal mask airway. Two different sizes, size 4, size 5. Not really sure which one will fit the best. Device that sits right on top of the vocal cord. Not technically a secure airway, but it's great for short cases and cases where you don't need paralysis for. Of note, don't use these in anyone with a higher risk of aspiration. Those who need a tube all the time. And in the morning, I try to prepare for as many of my cases as possible. First case, I'm going to use an LMA. The second one afterwards, I'm going to intubate. So I'm going to prepare the airway for the second case. Cuts down on my setup time in between cases. It'll also serve as a backup airway for my first case, so it works out. Using the robot today, or the surgery team is using a robot today. Da Vinci right there. And for my cold lines, like the IV lines, especially for older patients, always put one more stopcock on the line than I think I need. Usually in case I need to start a fennel drip. Most of the time it's not the case, but in the few times it is the case, super useful to have something you can just add on to, like that. Just hit 100 cases done. I know it's gonna be a couple thousand, really, in the next few years. But, I mean, we hit triple digits. That's something to celebrate, I guess. Reps is how you get better, so triple digit reps now. Okay, so after a few months of really locking in, I think now I can give you a more complete answer to what it's like to work as an anesthesia resident, specifically answering a question of interest. How many hours do we typically work? And the answer may surprise you, but I promise you there's a reason so many want to apply into anesthesia after medical school and even apply out of their current specialty into anesthesia if they're a current resident. Now, as everyone knows, the ACGME, or the resident physician governing body, sets an 80-hour average work week limit. Anyone who has first or even secondhand experience with the US residency system knows there is a humongous asterisk next to that number, especially for my surgical colleagues on the other side of the drapes. But there is a reason why anesthesia is so attractive at the moment, and that is, on average, we work 50 to 60 hours a week, and that's pretty consistent across most of the programs in the country. The most I've clocked in so far has been about 70 hours, and that's working 6 days straight with a 24-hour shift to cap it all off. And a normal week with a weekday 24-hour call and a post-call day will run you around 60 hours, all plenty below the 80-hour max. Just to put that in perspective, as an intern, which if you want to know more about the hours you work in during that year, I made a video about it last year somewhere in one of the top corners. But long story short, 70+ hour work weeks with 12 days working straight is just commonly accepted practice during that year. I hit 90+ hours several times working on certain rotations, so it's definitely been a lot better now that I've transitioned to my dedicated anesthesia years. But how do we manage to keep the hours so tame compared to other specialties? Because believe me, it's not just magic that it happens. Anesthesia, like all of medicine, is a big team sport, and there are certain role players that are involved to keep the machine running.
First up is the main team that you see on a daily basis during the weekday. The main team of residents are in the ORs from about 6 a.m. until they are relieved, and the relief system usually works differently at every program, but I'll tell you how Yale does it. We get incentive pay by the hospital every minute we are in a case after 5 p.m., which is basically the hospital's way of saying get these residents out by 5 p.m. as much as possible to avoid paying them overtime, basically. To do that, the most obvious external help are CRNAs. We have a few great ones at Yale that are super helpful and will take over cases for us that run super late from about 4 to 9 p.m. at night. But that help is very limited in number. So internally, we have our night call team, our call, and PM residents. The night call team is made up of 4 residents, also detailed in my last video up in the corner now too, if you want to know how night call works for anesthesia residents. But then there is an R-call resident, which is a paid $95 an hour, randomly assigned shift where you work your normal day and then stay until 8 p.m. to help relieve your co-residents. Then there are 2 PM residents, one junior and one senior. They'll come in at noon, help give lunch breaks, and then relieve co-residents until around 9 p.m.-ish. The cool part about the PM residents is that it is actually a whole official rotation. So a nice easy break rotation because you get to sleep in or get those wellness appointments in during normal human business hours that usually residents aren't available during. And actually, I just came off my PM rotation, so I can attest it's a pretty sweet gig. I also don't know why I'm choosing to set this shot up with my steamed laundry, but I'm too lazy to adjust the frame, so here we go. Now there are hours that we do put in as anesthesiologists that never get logged as official work hours, but still take up some time, so don't be completely fooled. Taking work home is typically the fastest way for residency to consume you. And although some of that is necessary in the form of your home studying for your boards, there is still some actual work that follows you home. While our primary care colleagues have inbox messages and clinic notes, we are always spending an hour or so chart reviewing and coming up with an anesthetic plan for the next day's cases. You've seen me do it in my past videos, and sure, I've definitely gotten faster within the past few months, but it's still hours that are part of your job that are never documented. But what does make up for it is the fact that we run for the most part on an OR schedule, which means if it's an OR holiday, like any national holiday, you're off unless you're on call that day. There are no scheduled cases on those days unless it's one of the emergency cases and you're the call team taking care of those emergencies. If you're not on the call team, you're 100% off. And that's a given. And for the rest of the working world, that may sound like oh no, well, duh, but it's huge for residents because I remember last year, I think I worked every single major holiday except for Christmas. And so getting that time back is priceless. A definite huge positive change for wellness. But sometimes even then, people always need emergency surgery, meaning someone from the anesthesia team has to be there at all times. And that does mean even on personal events in your life, like birthdays. Another day, or at least what feels like another day. 5:30, heading out the door. Time to go set up for our first case. Just finished up a kidney transplant after a long day of cases. I'm here all night. Turning 26 on call in the hospital, calls for the birthday cake ice cream in the 24-hour shop.
Little do you know the journey we went.
That's not the whole story. We could have had actual cake.
We could have. Mango yuzu cake.
But New Haven stole it after it was dropped off in the entirely wrong location. Anyways, my BIS is 20 right now.
Finished up a lab choline. Here we are.
No, you go first.
Oh wait, this is a good
Ooh.
texture. Wait, I'm kind of impressed.
That was so much better than I thought it would be. Cheers.
Happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday, Andy. Kind of phenomenal.
Wait, why does this slap?
So good. Wait, they're cake bits.
Oh,
Lil
it is
has
really-
those?
Nothing is more of a reality check of being a resident doctor than this being year 2 in a row of me spending my birthday in the hospital. I was on an inpatient nights rotation last year, and I'm on call. And nothing screams, I guess, the noble promise of medicine more than what an honor it is to care for someone's health at the sacrifice of celebrating yourself. And all the good, idealistic, and scary, realistic ways that phrase means.
For our program, as best as the Chiefs can with scheduling, we get 2 full weekends off each month. The other 2 weekends, you'll be working either a Saturday or Sunday 24-hour call. But those 2 weekends off is completely unheard of in other specialties and would be typically called a golden weekend. Compared to last year, there's been more intentionality to myself and my other co-residents to hang out outside of the hospital, something we all really missed during our intern year. We've picked up hobbies both separately and together, such as golf for me. Travel for outside ventures. Day trips to local New England cities.
What are we getting? Chocolate chip cookie. We're getting chocolate chip cookie. We're gonna get a cheese and guava Danish and spinach archer and coffee. There you go.
That's just stop one.
No, vanilla. Yes, I'm zooming in on
Drinking
you.
coffee. It's great coffee.
The same thing.
There's a gladiator seal you can't see.
What's in the cage? Why is there a cage?
The one seal that's aware of its limitations.
Yes, I know it.
The one, the one that realizes it's fake.
Sea pancakes.
And we eat so much to the point where we have a group chat literally named Thu Lan, which is refrigerator in Vietnamese, because that's just how big back we all are in this program. And it's great.
The art and the artist. And then the big back. It's always you eating, bro. Always. Hey, big bite.
That's too much footage of me eating.
Hey, for the compilation, man.
It's for the
For the compilation. Give me a good.
Michael Jordan fever games, watching him go to that.
Oh, dude, this is
Look at
like
my man.
this is like watching Anthony Bourdain at work. Look at him.
Oh yeah.
Dude got straight to it.
It's so good.
It's been this weird shift where I'm just so grateful for my particular cohort, entirely biased. It's the best. and definitely one of the more close ones in our program that hopefully you see in the videos. It really is a weird shift to actually enjoy the period of life we are all in. Yes, we're all doctors. Yes, we do absolutely care for our patients and want to put in the hours to get better, but I can say for a fact, for all residents in this country, more time off to take better care of ourselves leads to much better care when we clock in for our patients. Good luck to everyone who is applying anesthesia this year. It was a bloodbath my year. I'm sure it's not gonna get any better for all the reasons I just talked about, and I can't wait to continue showing you guys the life, the personalities, and the stories from an anesthesia residency training, particularly where I'm at. It's gonna be fun.